All right, let's go ahead and get into this astrology horoscope. So I did say I'm going to start doing more horoscopes on the channel. For the ones that are new, I've done them, before, but not as consistently as I would like. But I'm going to start doing them consistently. Nothing else will change on the channel, but I'm just going to start adding different diversities to the channel because to be honest with you, I'm working on something for the channel, but it's for y'all. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the horoscope. Before we get into the weekend with the moon being in Leo, that's going to trine Mars and then sextile Venus, and then Venus is going to oppose Mars. I'll get to that, but let's talk about today, Thursday, going into Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday. So the moon's in Cancer right now. So right now, and it's, the moon in Cancer is going to be opposing Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto. But the moon in Cancer really wants to make us feel emotionally cared for. That's what Cancer is. It's very nurturing. And the moon's in its dignified home right now. So this moon in Cancer is making us want to feel good emotionally. Like it brings the energy of wanting to nurture others and wanting to feel appreciated and nurtured by others as well. But there's always the shadow side of astrology. Like with the moon being in Cancer, it's like almost like when you don't feel cared for emotionally, or if you feel uncomfortable emotionally, it feels like, all right, I don't feel right now. Like let me find emotional comfort in something else, or if it's relationships, like let me find something else. Or that's what the moon in Cancer kind of brings. And it's going to oppose Saturn, so there's a challenge there of like us like feeling like we may be restricted, or it's going to oppose Jupiter, which is going to bring this energy of like, do we stay in this emotional spot to where we feel good, and how do we bring Jupiter into the mix of like experiencing it more, of the emotions more. So whether or not that's if you're going through something great, or if you're going through something that if you're going through something great, or if you're going through something that kind of sucks emotionally, it kind of brings in that energy of like the challenging aspect of trying to bring the two together of like, where is it that I really need to find my emotional comfort? Like who's really there for me? Who really appreciates me? Who really is nurturing in the same way in return? And then Pluto as well, it's like almost like we want to have an emotional breakthrough. And so that's right now with the moon coming in and being in Cancer for today and then tomorrow. And then we have Mercury square Saturn that's starting. So it's like Mercury square Saturn. Mercury's already in Libra, and I'll get into this weekend. That's where like the good energy is going to come. But I also have to talk about what else to kind of expect. So Mercury's going to square Saturn. Mercury's in Libra. Mercury in Libra, you have to think about where Libra is. It rules the scales. So when Mercury comes in, Mercury's all about communication, understanding. It's also learning and stuff. Mercury squares Saturn, with Mercury being in Libra and then Saturn being in its dignified home of Capricorn. It's like we'll talk the signs in a minute, but Mercury square Saturn brings a challenging kind of stressful aspect of, like, especially if there's things that we're trying to figure out and we're trying to communicate. It's almost like with Mercury being in Libra, it doesn't really want to tip the scales. It kind of wants to avoid conflict in a way. It wants to avoid things not being peaceful. So whether or not things are going well for you, how you're understanding or whatever it is, like if it is going well, there's things that you feel like you need to say, especially with it being in Libra with Venus, it does deal with relationships, it does deal with peace and harmony. So it's like, where is it that with Mercury square Saturn, it almost feels like a resistance type of energy of like, fuck, like this is what I want to feel, this is what I want to understand and communicate, but it's almost like brings that energy of like, well, maybe I shouldn't because I don't want things to kind of go off. But it almost, Saturn is trying to be like, hey, like if you really want this and you want to implement this into your life and you want to have this achievement, I guess you could say, because Saturn rules achievement, then, we need to use this stressful energy to make, that hard choice of talking or of that hard choice of understanding or trying to figure out. So don't let the resistance or it feel like, let me wait, or let me, you know what I mean? It's trying to wake you up a little bit. It's trying to make you see like, where is it that you need to understand, and where is it that you need to, what is it that you need to do, or what is it that you need to communicate? So that's Mercury square Saturn that we're going on. And then we're going to have the moon that's going to come into Leo on Saturday. So this moon is going to be in Cancer for today and then tomorrow. Then with this moon being in Leo, so the moon's going to come out of Cancer of, that watery energy, and it's going to come into Leo, that fire, and Leo's fixed, and it rules the 5th house of romance and creativity and expression. And so when the moon comes into Leo, it's making us want to enjoy life. It's making us want to enjoy things emotionally. We want to connect to other people emotionally. We want to have fun. So it's like we want to have basically fun and enjoy, the experiences that we want to enjoy. And with it being the 5th house, Leo rules, it's about romance, creativity, expression, And so when the moon comes in Leo, it is bringing the energy of like, all right, like I want to have fun, I want to do these things. And there's also going to be, and it's going to make aspects to Mars, which is Mars wants to, when these two are going to trine, it feels like, all right, I really want to do this. Like you have to think about what Mars is. Mars is all about direction, purpose, drive. It's the masculine. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It's just the masculine energy of Mars that wants to push things forward and wants to, that energy of like the go ahead, like let's go. And so with the trine to the moon and Leo, it's like, this is, all right, let's go. Like this is what I want to do. This is what I want to feel. This is what I want to go have a good time and enjoy myself and connect to other people. And I want to enjoy having the full experience. And I say full experience because the moon also is going to sextile Venus. So it's going to trine Mars and it's going to sextile Venus. So the sextile of the moon and Venus in its home sign of Libra, we really do want to feel the pleasures in life. Like Venus does rule pleasure. And it also rules relationships, and it rules peace, balance, and harmony. And so this is us really wanting to come into full alignment of wanting to feel good and wanting to feel the pleasure and wanting to feel like, you could say bliss or balance. And so that's what this energy of the weekend is going to, bring. Also, Venus is in Libra and it's opposing Mars, because Mars is in its dignified home of where it likes to be, even though it's in retrograde. And it'll come direct, here pretty soon. But it's like Venus is going to oppose Mars. And so when it comes to relationships, this is big on relationships because this is what this is about with Venus. Like Venus is the feminine, Mars is the masculine. And what the opposition here, this is the feminine and the masculine trying to get on the same page. And it creates that challenging aspect because it's an opposition. So it wants to bring together fully. And so, how is it that the feminine and the masculine, whether it's male, female, whatever it is, like how is it that the energies can come together? It also, like I said, there's a shadow side of astrology. It's like it's either coming together or it's breaking apart. Like where is it that we're gonna compromise and come together, or where is it that we're not gonna be able to do that, and it's gonna be challenging and frustrating. And so when it comes to this weekend, this is like a big, like Leo's romance, Venus's relationships, especially in this home of Libra. Mercury's there. And so where is it that we ultimately want to feel and enjoy ourselves and have fun and be able to connect with the moon sextiling Venus, of like wanting to really feel that pleasure of it. And then the trine to Mars, where is it that we can this is us wanting to feel and do what it is that we want to do and feel like what it is that we want to experience and stuff like that. And it's also frustrating too, because it brings up that energy. It brings up that heightened awareness of like, especially if like you don't feel like you're connecting to people, or if you don't feel like you're appreciated in your relationships, or if you're not on the same page with somebody, it brings that heightened awareness of like, fuck, like this is like really what I want to enjoy and have fun with, and this is where I want to feel the pleasure with this, and this is where like I feel like encouraged, and like this Mars energy of like, man, this is like what I really want to go after and have or do. So there's good energy this weekend, but there's also challenging energy too, especially like with the either whether that be the resistance from Mercury square Saturn of like, okay, like Mercury wants to communicate with, and it being a Libra, but it wants to keep the peace, it wants to keep the harmony, doesn't really want to have that conflict. It wants to understand, like Mercury and Libra likes to listen. It wants to understand both perspectives, but it doesn't really want to cause any type of conflict. And that's already hard enough as it is, as it's squaring Saturn, because the square brings us that stress of like, with Saturn being like, hey, like we need to realistically, especially with it being Capricorn, we need a realistic look at like where it is that we need to kind of get things in order, or where it is that we need to start taking action, fundamentally wise, to be able to bring in the ultimate achievement. So like when it comes to relationships or just overall in life, it's like it feels like it's almost like this energy of like we almost like shy away from it. It's like I don't want to deal with that stress, or I want to deal with that, having that conversation or communicating this, or whatever, like I just don't want to understand. But that aspect actually was challenging you and feels stressful, because it's like, this is what we need to do. And so I would say this weekend there's good energy, especially if you can get on the same page with people, there's good energy, but it's also going to be kind of like a big, like, well, fuck, like, like where is it that I'm not coming together with my partner? Because I know this channel's a lot about relationships with, tarot and stuff. Or like, where is it, if it's not relationships and Venus, where is it that, like, what is the things that I want to go after and have with, Venus opposing Mars? But it almost feels like I don't know how to get there in that direction, or it just feels like it's a challenge to go and experience that and feel the pleasure of that and get the harmony and the peace with Venus being a Libra. So I feel like this weekend's pretty, like, there's better energy as opposed to like the past couple of weekends. Like we had that full moon in Taurus, which was, you know, with the full moon in Taurus, it was with, you know, your rawness, which already brings that aspect of like with the moon. And then we have the sun. Okay, you know, the sun's in Scorpio opposing the moon with your rawness. It's like, it's unpredictable. So it's like, you know, it's almost like thinking that one thing's gonna happen, but then this happens. So it just depends on how your weekend went. But, and then, you know, like this has already been a long, stressed out transit anyway. It's already been a lot going on in the transits, but I do feel like this weekend is trying to encourage us and motivate us to connect fully, or if it's challenging, you know, it almost feels like, well, fuck, like I can't connect, but it brings that intuitive heightened awareness of like, okay, well, like, well, at least I know what it is that I want and what I want to experience in my life. And so if you're not connecting with people, or if you're not experiencing whatever you want to experience, it should be motivating to you to be like, okay, well, at least I now know that, like, this is what I want to have, this is what I want to experience, this is what I want to feel, this is where I want to come together, you know what I mean? So there is good energy this weekend, I would say. But anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And yeah, otherwise than that, I am going to start bringing more horoscopes to the channel and just talking about the astrology. There's still a lot that I'm learning. Like, I feel like astrology is like a language. It's like once you learn one language, you learn another language, and it's like, but I've been studying it for a while, so I figured I'd start talking about it more and more on the channel, and like the tools that I use, and just bring awareness to all of you guys. But anyways, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for all your support and everything. It means a lot. But anyways, like I said, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and yeah, have fun and stay safe.